$10 already from Ernie Mathis. Let's go, baby. Thank you for the love, man. Good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode of High Top Sports. Your boy is absolutely fired up and ready to rock and roll. We're less than 24 hours away, ladies and gentlemen, and we have a jam-packed show in store for you today. Of course, co-host here with me tonight, standing at 6'2", 295 pounds, Mr. Floirda Gators, ladies and gentlemen. And the man, the myth, the Gator legend. Legend has it, he used to kick 65 yards plus on any given day of the week. Mr. Judd Davis, ladies and gentlemen. Judd? What's going on, man? How we doing?
6'2", did you say 6'2", 295, Dave?
So look, Dave's like 5'9" on a good day. So I just completely just throw his height.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Son of a bitch up right now.
Minus a few inches and pounds. Yeah, I'm about that.
I love it. I love how I gave you the greatest hype ever, Judd, and you were just concerned for Dave's for Dave's height. That's what you were worried about.
I think I can make a call and get you to walk on tomorrow.
I love it. Well, Mr. Judd, man, I appreciate you coming on here as always. I do want to apologize. Last time we hung out, I let you down on hole 18, and so I hope that you'll forgive me and we can run it back.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
I'm glad you forgot about it. I'm glad you forgot about it. I've had a lot of sleepless nights since then. So.
Yeah, Shelton, you can play, brother. Shelton's a stick, man.
Stop it. Judd's the man. Judd shoots a 36 with his eyes closed. It's unbelievable. We get to the end of the 90s. He's like, what you got before going down for, Sheldon? I was like, 36. He's like, all right, sounds about right. I love it.
Kickers in golf, man. Kickers in golf. It's you have a lot of time on our hands.
True that.
I'd probably shoot like 236.
No, hopefully not that high. We wouldn't allow you to get that high. Well, look, guys, we're going to go with Judd today. We're going to talk about Cam Rising being out. Then we're going to talk about why Floirda, where the hype is coming from, get Judd's thoughts on it, and then his concerns. Does he have any concerns? What are his big question marks of it? And, of course, I told him before the show started, we got to get a classic Spurrier, just 90s football Gator story that everybody is going to love to hear. So first order of business, guys, is Cam Rising is taking the bench here. And this just dropped today after a week ago. The depth chart came out that Cam was playing. I felt that it was fluke. I even feel this could be a little flukish, but I feel like it's probably more true than not. What's your thoughts on it, Judd, with Cam Rising being out?
I think they tried to maybe not leak anything out as long as they could, probably, as the coaches do. But I mean, how long has it been since he tore that ACL? It's what? It hasn't been a long time.
Yeah, he tore it in the Rose Bowl. So that was my biggest thing too. Is he hasn't had a typical recovery stint because it has been a very short season for him because it wasn't like I heard at the beginning of the season, right? I had a whole season plus an off season. He's only had the off season to nurse it and get it prepared. And we've talked a lot about just look, is this game worth putting him out there? If he's not 100%. Do you really want to put him out there and cause an injury that could be long-term where he doesn't play longer? Is the game's important, but is it that important?
Yeah, I mean, with him, as we know, the guy, he can sling it, but it's his wheels. It's kind of like Florida State. It's all on their quarterback's shoulders. And take it. And you're right. This game is kind of for bragging. A little revenge factor after last year. That crowd wants to, because they came into games last year thinking they were going to beat us. And of course they do, but he's everything. You lose him, down goes the ship. And like I said, I don't know, he can't, even if he was 80%, he's going to have to just drop back and pass. He's not going to be running all over the place. But it's amazing. What was the spread? I think the line was it 10 at one point?
Yeah, it was 11.
It plummeted. How is it? It's got to be close to pick up almost, doesn't it?
This morning it was a 4.5 once this news broke. It was 6.5 up until this. It was 4.5 when originally, and then the depth chart came out, went back up to 7, and then the news dropped today, and now it's went back down to 4 because of this.
Jeez, And then also their stud tight end is out of too, right?
I believe he is.
Supposedly he's out too, Brent Keithy.
That hasn't been confirmed, but that's been the same type of noise of neither guy will play because both sustained an ACL injury last year.
Keithy's injury was in September, I believe, so he'd be the more healthiest to return over Cam Rising if he were to play. But according to Pete Thamel, they're both going to be out.
So look, with
go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, I was just talking about how, this is going to be a test now. I mean, because the defense, the D line is going to be licking their chops coming after, I don't know what's the guy's name. But what's crazy is this guy's got more experience in Utah than Graham Mertz does at Florida. I don't know.
Barnes?
I think both teams, this is just, if you think you know what's going to happen in this game, then you're crazy. I mean, I don't know there's no telling. I do think that, from what Napier is maybe going to be calling more plays, I don't know. I think that the biggest frustration last year with Richardson was that, and now that we know, hindsight's 2020, looking back, and Richardson, I don't know how many times we'd see him roll a hand off and then roll out the other way, and there's nobody, right? But you thought he had the choice to keep it, though. That's what I was understood later on, that he could have kept it and just taken off. That was the biggest frustration but I think that's going to change. I think Napier is going to change it up a little bit, calling plays.
I love hearing that. And look, so moving on with Cam being out, and I've got since this past, the last week it's really amped up, but I've got an IV in my leg here. You guys can't see it, of just the Floirda Gator Kool-Aid that is just dripping in right now because of the hypeness that's going on right now. So I want to get your take, Judd. Obviously, if you can bring me down to earth, but if not, we'll keep this rocket ship going. Why should Florida be hyped? What should their excitement outside of Cam Rising being out? It's not exciting. I wanted to go up against him, but there's a lot of good things that are happening in Florida, and want to get your take what's going on behind the scenes that you've been hearing.
Well, I think just Napier, that first year, he came in, as we know now, it was chaos. I became, good friends with Dan Mullen and everything, but just what was left behind and how toxic it had gotten there at the end with the players and the culture there and the unity and I think that Napier came in and with limited time for that initial recruiting listen, I've gotten to know him, the coaches, these guys. I've never pulled for a coaching staff more than I have for these guys. But now that he got a year under his belt, and everywhere he's been, every year they have improved a lot. So I think that now that it's becoming more his team, he still doesn't have the recruits in there that he wants. The recruiting class for next year is supposed to be incredible, top 5 already. But it's just got to give the guy time. I think if we get some behind Mertz, I think we'll see what he can do. I know in practice that the short 10 yards and under passes, dip, that he's been very good, but it's the deep balls thrown into double coverage and this and that. Can he set it in there? So, but like I said, the hype, I'm excited. I think I was talking to Dorian the other day, and I think we're going to be better than people think. I really do.
And so Dorian's great, obviously. He's on SEC Network, and last year he was low on them. I think this year he's a little more optimistic, but you're talking, I think, so tell me, is he the same on screen as he is off screen? Because I think on screen he's got a reputation, right? He can't go out there like, yeah, Gators are going to go 12-0. I've said before, they asked me to pick the schedule. I'm not going to pick the Gators to lose, but he has to. He has to go out there and give a biased opinion or a non-biased opinion. Behind the scenes, though, is he a little more optimistic about it, or is he pretty even keel across the board?
Dorian, when he started doing that, when he was really on the air and he started getting his name known, he tried to please everyone. Because, I would see him at work every day, and I think he realized one day, he just dawned on me, he said, I have got to be true to my heart, and I got to speak what I feel. And that's the only way to do that. Sure. And he was trying not to infuriate the Gator fans, but yet he didn't want to be a homer and all this stuff. So finally, he just started feeling, and he's going out on a limb. He's really, like you said, he spoke his mind, and he's not always been right. But I was talking to him just 2 days ago, and he's been the last couple of years, man. I just don't see it, Judd. I've been out of practice, but he was really positive. He's like, Judd, these guys are going to be better than people think. And they're buying in the Napier system. The weight, the off season, oh man, in the weight room, these guys have just gone bananas. They've changed. They're more focused. I know they're going to be better than people think, and I think it really just comes down to, at the end of the day, obviously we got to have guy under center. if Graham Mertz can get it done, I mean, I don't know. I haven't watched any film out of Wisconsin, but we'll just have to see if he can just slowly build the confidence with this kid.
And any thoughts on Armstrong coming in? Obviously, the new DC, a ton of energy, ton of hype behind him as well. What's your thoughts on that? And hopefully, some improvement on the defensive side.
Yeah, I mean, I think it can only improve. I think a new set of eyes and new blood in there. I think it's just you needed a new culture outside of Florida, just because we just been struggling in the mud all these years. And from what I understand, the players love him. I mean, they just love the guy flying around, cutting him loose, letting the guys, the edge rushers, just listen, just go get him. Instead of just obviously filling them with all kind of assignments, they're just letting them just go because they got some good athletes. They really do. I don't know. This game now, if Florida can pull this off, and then we come in, we play McNeese, and then Tennessee comes to town. I mean, my gosh. I mean, there's no. But it was cool. It's all first 3 games under the lights. It's going to be pretty awesome. But I mean, I think Utah will be telling a lot, but I think it's just going to take some time, and hopefully Napier calling plays. I'm looking for some promising changes there.
So, and I obviously again the Kool-Aid's still locked into the IV here, but it's college ball, and once you get rolling and you can string a few W's together, you kind of get that ignorance bliss going. Because although the team is extremely young, we've heard that there is a lot of talent on that team. With you playing, I mean, you've been a part of that, right? Where one season things could not be going the right way, and all of a sudden the next season something just clicks, and the age and all that kind of goes by the wayside because everybody's in unison. There's great coaching and everyone's bought in, and that's all you need. Could you see that happening with this team? And again, that's maybe where the excitement is coming because the talent was there last year, but buy-in wasn't as much. The talent, I believe, is there, if not more so, although it is young, and the buy-in. I mean, the family aspect, the brotherhood. I mean, that's been the motto amongst camp and from everybody else that's hearing what's going on there as well.
Yeah, everybody loves Coach Napier. I mean, he's the most easily. I mean, I absolutely love his personality. What you see is what you get. He's about as real as they come. And I think he's created an identity of the team and buying in and all that, but we don't really have an identity on the field yet. We don't even, what kind of offense is Florida run? There's really, you don't even, back with Spurrier, with the fun and gun and this and that. We don't even have, I mean, we had Richardson last year, the Superman, and we didn't really even, it was just
cut it loose.
Bizarre how, it's just, I mean, my gosh, it was just like you said, take off the handcuffs and let these guys play. So I want to see an identity of what we do. I don't care if it's going for it on 4th down, that's Napier's thing or something, but we got to have something that somebody can grab onto. Like you said, if we can win this first one and get them, there just hasn't been the Gator mystique as there had in the past, and that's what you got to build back up.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. But I've been kind of starting a little chant of third and visor because obviously third and long was our kryptonite last year. And now with Austin Armstrong bringing back the classic Spurrier visor and that old nostalgic feel, right? If we're able to get some big stops on 3rd down, that money down, right? That was kind of a thing. Again, something you can kind of grab onto, right? That's the image, the theme of the team. Right, we don't have that right now. There's not an identity of the team. That's a good point. I didn't even think of that. A lot of great players, a lot of good guys, but what's going to step up and be the identity for the team this year, for sure?
Yeah, I mean the identity of the Florida Gators now is Tom Petty. We won't back down. That's such a cool thing that everybody in the country knows about, right? And it is cool, but I want to be more than the team that sings Petty song, and that's the video you show. Like you said, there's no identity. I want Napier to be known for something. I want the team to be known for something. Everybody's just kind of, well, I don't know. We'll see. Nobody has any idea, but I think you give him time, and I just don't want it to be, he gets 2 years. Okay, screw it. Let's axe him and bring somebody else in to try. Because it's not like the old school. We used to get 3-4 years. Now you don't. You do it now. They're trying to scrape up $20 million to pay him on the out, and you keep doing that, it'll never. You're going to be stuck forever. But I think he's the guy, and the recruiting is coming around. But what you have to do is it has to be cool to go to Florida again. Like right now, you have kids in high school, Florida. They suck. They've never been good. They don't even. They forget what it was like, or Miami. They don't know about the '90s or how good they used to be and dominate. Or Florida State, they're just it's funny how Clemson and these teams, they've always been good. These young kids don't know. They want to get paid, and they want to be what's cool. Is it cool to go there? That's really what it comes down to.
Yeah, I want a feeling of like when kids know our success, they don't have to watch Swamp Kings. They can go back maybe a year or two and be like, hey, they won a national championship, right? So I think that is what's kind of really been missing at Florida. I mean, you go through a few failed coaches and all that. Of course, it's gonna be a while, and obviously, I think even if Billy Napier was to not have a successful year this year, I think he will have a more successful year this year. But if he wasn't, if that recruiting class stays intact, I think there is hope for the future. And obviously, like you said, you got rid of at least 20 guys in the transfer portal. You brought new guys in here. So it's going to be new guys, but it's also going to be handpicked Billy Napier guys. It's going to be a little bit different. These are guys with college experience as well. And you're going to mix them in with some of the elite players that you got in high school as well. And I think part of that, it intrigues some of the Florida Gator fans, especially if you look at that defensive line depth chart. Good Lord, that is that was probably like my biggest take out of that whole depth chart was the defensive line and how much depth we had there. And then you go to the defensive backfield. You got Jason Marshall returning. You got Jakeem Jackson. You got Devin Moore. You got some of the newer guys that are back there. Obviously, you got some more tenured guys as well. And then the linebacker core looks pretty deep as well. The safety is the only spot that I've always been concerned with, obviously, because of, we just haven't had good safety play. There's new guys back there. Some of them are young as well, too. But I think overall with the talent, even the young talent that you recruited through high school, they are more talented. The problem is they lack experience. And I think that's what's going to be it could be a big issue this year, and it could not be. I mean, you've seen Jordan Castell make it to the top of the depth chart. I mean, Billy Napier literally says you're going to earn it. He's not afraid to play freshmen. So if Jordan Castell's been showing out in camps, he's going to let him play. So I'm more excited and intrigued by the young guys because I think the defense will be better just based on the skill level talent. I'm worried about the experience factor a little bit, especially there in the backfield. Now,
Sure.
defensive line, I am phenomenal with, but at the same time, like I said, with the whole Billy Napier, him getting fired in year 2, I don't see it because they would owe him a lot of money too on top of that. But at the same time, this is a school where you better win, you better win now, or you're going to hear it. So I get where both people are coming from, both sides of the perspective there. But like as I said, if this class is top 5, I feel intrigued for the future, but I want to see progress. But hopefully, we'll see it this year anyway.
For sure. Judd, real quick, got a super chat from the professor, big fan. He says, Judd's my all-time favorite and put 10 in my high top 401k. So little love there for Judd. Then
Professor, appreciate that, Professor. Thank you.
Yes, sir. And then Devil Dog said, punters rule, Holly drools. Judd was more of a kicker, but we'll take it.
Punters rule. Yeah. Shane Edge would like to hear that.
He would. Edge is the man.
Yeah.
The two of you together, man, that's a combo right there, boys. I'm telling you, that's a treat. Just the 1-2 punch of the stories. They pick each other's up and finish each other's sentences. It's a real treat. And then one last thing, Landon Gosnell says, Gators by 14 tomorrow night. Go Gators. I love that energy. But Judd, so speaking of the coaching and again, kind of us burning through them, when you and I we spoke last, I asked you because I was a little young when this happened. Spurrier leaving, it's kind of a fog. And I asked you, I was like, what happened, right? Why did Spurrier end up leaving? Because he wasn't doing poorly, wasn't winning championships anymore, right? And you kind of talked about that a little bit. And I think that's kind of where Florida fans can get a little egregious at times, right?
You mean when Coach Spurrier left and went to South Carolina? I mean,
yeah,
not like
correct.
When he left the Gators, it's funny because I had talked to his wife, Jerry Spurrier, who's just one of the greatest people in the world, and she told me that near the end there, because I don't remember when we had this conversation, and when they got to Florida, Florida hadn't won anything. There was no SEC titles. It was nothing. It was just basically this sleeping giant that Coach Spurrier wanted to wake up. And all of a sudden, you win anything, and it's cool. And then by the time that after all those years at Spurrier, you beat Vandy, 17-10. Oh, wait a minute. Why was it so close? It's all of a sudden it's not fun anymore. It's why didn't you win by more? And I think that's what Jerry said. It wasn't fun anymore. And why don't you win by more? And the expectations. It's kind of like if they start going down, my gosh, their fan base is they expect to be in the national championship game every year. So I think Coach thought he could go to South Carolina and do the same thing that he did at Florida. That, very similar. They hadn't done anything, and he did have some success there, but that's tough. That's a tough recruit job there. But I think he just wanted to do it again there. I don't know if he could go back and do it again if he would stay, but I mean, he's one. I mean, Coach Spurrier was the only player and coach to be in the Gator Hall. I mean, I think only person to do win a national championship as a player and a coach.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's, and I think that, like you said, if he could do it again, he'd probably stay. And I think the reason I asked you to tell a story, because I think it's important to note for Gator fans, and we preach this on the show, is to be patient, right? Great things take time. The advantage that Spurrier had was there wasn't any, great prior success. Right now, a lot of Florida fans are running off the high of the 96 and then, of course, the Urban era. I mean, that tank's empty, boys, but we're still using it as fuel. Right. It's like we're the great Gator football team. It's like that's been a long time. It's been over 20 years ago, or almost 20 years ago.
Like in Florida's most successful years, they had close games against teams they should not have had close games to, but they pulled it off with talent. You have to have a big talent pool. So if you're having a terrible game, your talent can help you win those terrible games. Like if you got a guy running a 4.3 like a Percy Harvin and you're struggling in a game and he can take 183 yards to the house, that's because you had the talent on that side of the football. Florida's always had talent. Here recently with Jim McElway, Dan Mullen, the talent level has declined. Now Billy Napier has brought that talent level back here from the time being to the University of Florida. And I think that's what's going to help us in these close games. I mean, like last year, we lost to Vanderbilt. Everybody knows about that. That sucks. But did we really have the talent to help us dig us out of that game? No, we were missing a lot of people. There was injuries. But at the same time, I feel like if we had fielded our whole team, we would have won that game. But if we had good elite talent behind those injuries, that game wouldn't even been close anyway to begin with. So I think right now is that you got to establish the talent, getting the talent into the Florida. But at the same time, like Florida, as I said, those national championship years that Florida had, they had close games. We remember the South Carolina, the cock block. We remember, they lost to Ole Miss, but they were able to get themselves back up by blowing out Georgia, who was ranked number 8, blowing out LSU, and who was ranked number 3. So you can afford a loss anyway in the SEC. You can afford 2 now, especially with this 12-team playoff. But having the talent can help you in a bad game if you just have one of those games that maybe everybody doesn't show up or things don't go your way. A lot of things went bad for Florida in that Vanderbilt game too, a lot of turnovers. But if you have those types of games and you have the talent, you'll still be able to pull those type of games off. Absolutely.
And we got Judd Davis here, guys, legendary kicker from the 1990s, part of that 1996 championship team. But Tristan Creel, 5 top sports membership gifted, man. I appreciate that, man. Appreciate your love and support. Also, too, Judd, you remember when you came on the show last time, I don't think we had eclipsed 2,000 subs. Just want you to know, Judd, since you've been gone, we hit 16,000 just the other day.
Woohoo! Damn, nice. Yep. Yeah, I should have saved all my good stories for the big crowd.
Yeah, so we have over 500 people in here right now. So make sure you guys drop a like. I think last time, Judd, there was like 4 of us, and I think I had 3 iPods open. So, Judd, I appreciate you being here in the beginning. I appreciate you coming back, man. It's always a blast. But look, we've been hyping them up. I'm gonna keep the IV hooked up for the Kool-Aid. But what are some of your concerns that maybe we've been overlooking, or some things that, again, as from being a player going out to Utah, that could be a little concerning, that worries you a little bit?
Like you said, I keep going back to identity. I mean, like these guys they're still meeting each other, and these portal guys come in. It's kind of a different era. I mean, it is a different era when you bring in these, and you can look at Deion Sanders' team where they ran off almost the entire team at Colorado. I mean, it's different now back than it used to be, as far as you come there, then you beat them by the time you're there with these guys, same guys for 4 years. So it's developing an identity with these guys that are coming in. I mean, Graham Mertz coming in from Wisconsin. And some of these guys don't even know the history of being a Gator. So, I mean, we have, like I said, I keep going back to identity. That's the newness of it, going on the road. And I tell you what, that Thursday night game, I mean, that's a lot of, I remember we played Mississippi State on Thursday night, and the whole country's watching. I mean, it's pretty. There's a lot of pressure there. I can't imagine Mertz, what he's going through right now. But Cam Rising not playing, that's going to be a little reprieve. But I just think it's the unknown right now that we don't know. I think there's a lot of pressure on Coach Napier, the whole staff, and just these guys going in there and cutting loose and just some kind of identity of what we're going to do on offense. I mean, we got ETN back there. We got some badass playmakers, but I think we got to let them do what they do and not, like you said, just cut the handcuffs and let's roll.
Speaking to that Thursday night game, because I've mentioned that a few times, it's a factor because it's definitely throwing off the rhythm. The pro is that it's the first week, so it's not like you're going through Saturday, then have to have a Thursday in the middle, right? So it's not like that is essentially, but you got to think they're going through their reps and their routine throughout the week. Does that play a factor too? And on top of you knowing it is a primetime ESPN game, the only game, or no, there's been one other game, Mizzou, but nobody's watching Mizzou versus South Paul State. So everyone's tuning into this game.
Yeah, the hype is pretty big. I know they're at altitude too. I mean, I don't know how much that's going to affect. That is a big difference. Those guys have been out there practicing at that level. I mean, then again, it's not 5,000 degrees like it is in Gainesville with these guys practicing. But you never know how that's going to affect them. But yeah, the excitement will be off the chart, especially when you know that the entire country, every coach, every team, the entire country will be watching that game, every player, and they know that. That's pretty cool. You don't get to do that very often. And normally you're in the mix of all the other games on Saturday, or you're buried in there. But on Thursday night, when you know everybody that you've ever known, all your friends, family, all their friends, and every other player that you play with that's off playing in University of Michigan, they're all sitting on the couch watching that game.
Damn, Judd,
that's pretty cool.
You're making me nervous, Judd. Just simmer down. So something I've talked about too, and again with playing and being surrounded by this, the young guys going in there. There's the pro and the con, right? Con is they're young and heat of the moment they may make a poor decision, but the pro, in my opinion, is the blissness of the entire situation, and just not knowing how big it really is until maybe after the fact, right? Which could lead to an advantage. Your experience watching others play, do you buy into that, or do you feel the young guys are just as nervous, or the vets are just as nervous, or how does that usually shake out from your experience?
I mean, I think obviously it helps the experienced guys, but once you get out on that field, I mean, people make a big hype. Oh, that's gonna be on the that quote's gonna make it on the board and make those guys pissed off. They're gonna play harder. Listen, Coach Spurrier always said, listen, after 15 minutes, everybody's tired anyway. I mean, that's why his quote. He didn't care. He didn't care. He'd say whatever he wanted, and all these. Of course, the press ran with, I can't believe he said that. That's going to make these guys play so much harder, and they're so upset. And that's a bunch of crap. I mean, it's like these young guys have never done this before. I can't imagine the first game on the road, the national television. They've never even haven't even run out of the tunnel in the swamp yet, and they're going to be coming out there on national television on ESPN. But yeah, it's quite a first game to be playing with. I think that they're all going to be hyped up. I think the veterans, it's just as much as the freshman guys, are going to be just as nervous.
I love how, because again, it's such a good point. We as fans are sitting on the couch and we'll hear somebody, say some fiery quote, and we're like, oh, ready to run through a wall. Like, yeah, well, easy, big boy. You're sitting on the couch still. You haven't done anything. When you said that, like 15 minutes in, I just kind of checked into me competing in something or playing something, and it's like halfway through, you're like, what am I doing here? Like this. There's no motivational video or words you can tell me right now to get me fired up. This sucks. That's so true. Like we hype it up.
That's why Coach Spurrier was never afraid. He just basically he loved to just. There was always the quote, and it just and nobody could believe he would say what he said, but he didn't care, man. Then he'd go out and back it up and win. He just made it. It was so much. There was no coach speak with Coach Spurrier. He flat out told you what he thought, and as a player, he told you what he thought. That's for sure. And if you couldn't handle it, if you were thin-skinned, you had to stay away from him.
I love that stuff. So real quick, guys, we're gonna let Judd tell us a story real quick, but we're doing a giveaway to our members here. Signed Shane Matthews jersey. Judd knows Shane. That's gonna be good.
Goat.
Oh yeah.
That's gonna be given out at the end of the show. We also are doing a Warfel giveaway. And thanks to Dorian Mortgage. So make sure you guys go check that out on our Twitter page. Real quick though, I got a buddy here between the hedges, Judd. He and I play golf together, so I tell him about our showdowns. He said SEC is better when the Gators are more competitive. Judd, Sheldon says he has to give you two aside. Love the show. I promise, Judd, I did not tell him that. I did not tell him that I give you two aside. I promise.
I'll take two aside. I'll take two aside right now.
I talk my shit, but I'm not. I know where I stand with Judd. All right, I'd rather be on Judd's team than against it. That's kind of where I sit. Quick question from Devil Dog.
Sheldon can play.
I appreciate it. That means a lot coming from you, Judd. That's a stick right there. $10 from Devil Dog says, Judd, did you play with Dexter McNabb? He was a high school teammate.
Oh, big Dexter McNabb. I sure did. Yeah, Dexter was a tank. Yeah, I can't imagine what Dexter did to people in high school. Oh yeah, big son of a gun, built like a truck. All these names. That's a flashback. Yep. Love. Everybody loved McNabb. Boy, he was a monster. I just stayed off the kicker. Just let these guys rip each other's heads off, man. But yeah, there was some great players. We could use Dexter McNabb right now for sure.
Great question, man. Mr. Judd Davis. So we got over 600 in the chat, boys. Be sure to drop a like. Let's get over 200 likes before we go. But Judd, give us some good old-fashioned Floirda Gator stories before you sign off, man. And I appreciate you as always for coming on here, man. It's been an absolute blast. Hopefully we'll link up sometimes this season at the tailgate for sure.
Oh yeah. So what you were? I think I told you the story about Doug Johnson. Is that what you were talking about, Sheldon?
Yeah. Well, on the way to Georgia, you mentioned. I mean, your stories are phenomenal. They're always so well told, and I felt like I was there when you were telling me, and I was like, that's a good one. I was telling somebody about it because it was just so fun. You get I keep saying Warfel. You get Spurrier's personality in it, and just his drive and his competitiveness, but also too because, like you said, the media would always paint Coach as kind of a dickhead and say certain things, but this story kind of shows a side of him, taking the bullet for the players, and that's why I thought it was a great little.
Yeah. So we're playing golf with Coach Spurrier in St. Augustine at Marsh Creek, and Doug Johnson, if you ever remember, he was a great, incredible Gator quarterback and went on to play in the league for the Falcons. But he and Coach Spurrier kind of butt heads a little bit when he was playing. So Doug is supposed to play with us, Doug Johnson. So I see Doug he shows up in the range beforehand, and he walks up to me and goes, I'm kind of nervous, and I'm like, I haven't seen Coach Spurrier since I was in the league. And he said, we haven't spoken in forever. I go, well, so what? He goes, well, we kind of had the way it ended, it wasn't real good. I'm like, what are you talking about? So I think it was the East-West Shrine Bowl and the Senior Bowl as a senior. Coach Spurrier was the honorary coach for one, like the West, and then the other time. And Doug was the quarterback for, I think, the West side, when team's red or blue. And Doug said it gets down to near the end of the, we're up by 3 touchdowns, and we're on the 3-yard line going in. And Coach, I come over the sidelines, and Coach Spurrier says, okay, Dougie, let's go ahead and take a knee. We got us wrapped up, right? And so he tells me to go out there and take a knee, and that's it, And so Doug tells me, he said, this is exactly how he said. He said, I go out to the huddle, I walk out there, and I looked at everybody. There's 5 seconds on the clock, and he says, guys, Coach wants to take a knee. He goes, F that, because we're throwing it. So Doug tells the huddle. So he calls a little fade. Right? Boom, snaps, rolls, a little fade to the back of the end zone, touchdown, right? End of the game, and the announcers apparently start to rip Spurrier. Here, typical Spurrier, running up the score. I don't know what, And Doug said, Judd, I went to the reporters, did my interview, and boom, I was gone. Went right to the locker room, just dipped before Coach Spurrier could get to him. And so I'm thinking, okay, that's not really the story. So then as we're playing, and so Doug shows up and, hey, Coach, and they're talking and we start playing a little bit. And so, of course, I'm just egging it on. So at the third hole, I said, Coach, what happened at the end of that in the Senior Bowl with Doug? And, man, Doug just his head whipped up. And Spurrier said, oh, yeah, Joe, I told Dougie's down there. I tell him to take a knee. What does he do? He always walks to a fade, throws it back in the end zone. Said, makes me look like an idiot. And I mean, you should have just felt the tension on the thing. And then he said, yeah, Doug, he said, I remember all week long, every day after practice, and all the scouts are there, the NFL. He said, yeah, Judd, he goes, Doug stayed after practice every day and threw extra to the team, to all the guys, for all the scouts. He goes, Judd, you know how many times he did that before? Not once. And then apparently he didn't see Coach Spurrier until the Falcons played the Redskins in the NFL after the game. And I think Doug went down the field and scored and beat Coach Spurrier in the NFL and saw him after the game. And he said it was chilly. It was chilly. But yeah, Coach didn't blame it on Doug. Said, yeah, just kind of went with it after the game. But just stories like that, man. And it's just, everybody's got a great Coach Spurrier story. He's the best.
They're incredible. Yeah, because we had you on too. We had you on what? I think it was the Orange and Blue game. You told some more stories. You hooked us up with the Townsend brothers. That was a good time. But your stories never miss. They're absolutely incredible, and I could sit there and play golf and listen to them all day. You're the perfect golf cart buddy, I should say. You know how to slap it around. You give good advice. Unless he's going against you, he'll shoot the flag. He'll be like, yeah, man, it's 115. And then you sky it over the green.
Yeah.
You sky it, and I go, hey, I thought it was 115. You're like, it is. It's in fact not.
You might want to double check your number that I give you on that for sure.
I love it. He's competitive. Well, Judd, man, I really do appreciate you as always for hopping on here. I'll get with you. Hopefully, we can come down for one of the games to tailgate with you guys at the Dorian Mortgage tent. That's always a blast. So if you got room, we'll be there. But I would say follow you though on your Twitter, but I don't think you really care about that stuff. But do you want to shout anything out, Judd, before you go? Oh, give me a score prediction.
No, man, it's been great being on here. Like I said, we'll come on and we'll tell some more war stories. And like I said, I got more stories with Coach Spurrier and the crew, and I love coming on with you, Shelton. Man, you guys are great. Dave, it was good to meet you, my man. And tomorrow is going to be a good one, man. I think we're going to pull it off, though. I think I'm thinking 28. 24.
What is it?
28-24 Gators.
Okay, 28-24, a close one. Okay, I like it. I got Gators by 1 million. I don't know if they'll allow that, but I'm hoping for a Spurrier type blowout up when it was back up in Georgia. I kind of want that kind of energy, but I don't think Billy's got it in him. But Judd, again, I appreciate you, man. I'll be in touch, and I'll shoot you some messages. We'll figure everything out. And thank you again for coming on the show, man. Appreciate you. Go Gators.
All right, man. All right, guys. See you. Thanks for having me.
Yes, sir. Be good, man. All right, Mr. Steven, Chad, Holly. How about it, Mr. Judd Davis on the show, ladies and gentlemen? That's how, that's how you sign off the off-season podcast. You know what I mean? Like, to me.
The live chat just left because Holly's on now.
Bro, 600 strong on a Wednesday afternoon just really tickles my fancy. You know what I mean? And I love the fact I came in, I was like, what are we going to do on Wednesday? I was like, it's going to be a celebration. It's going to be a celebration because we made it here. We got here. And let's have some fun. Let's talk some ball. And, I mean, no better way to have it than Judd Davis come on here and just talk good old-fashioned football with us. Absolute pleasure. Love that guy to death. What you saw on the camera, like he said about Spurrier, really is how he is in person. He's incredible. Full of energy. It's unbelievable. Can't believe how much energy he has. I'm running out of breath hanging out with him.
Yeah, I met him a little bit during the spring game, man. He's pretty energetic, dude.
Yeah, I met him a few times. I think the first time I met him was at the Utah game last year when you and I set up outside, Shelton, and that was the first time I had a chance to meet Judd. And the guys, like you said, what you just saw is exactly what you get. That was not any type of camera roll for any stretch of the imagination.
Absolutely. It says, this is the worst commercial break ever. I love it. I love it. All right, boys. So we got a few things to go over. So obviously, I'm going to talk about the backup for Utah. A funny little little thing we had today. First play predictions. We're going to have our pick'ems. We're bringing pick'ems back, which is a blast, which is going to be brought to you by my bookie, which we'll get into that. And then, of course, Dave stepped this game up, boys and girls, our tweets of the week. And then we're going to close it out again with a giveaway for Mr. Shane Matthews' jersey for the members. So be sure, if you're a member already, you're already in it. So, again, over 600 people in here. Drop a like. Let everybody know you're here, you're having a good time, and you're having a blast. That part is free. And then, again, we have other giveaways going on right now. We're giving away a Fred Taylor football. All of this will be given away on Friday. We have a Fred Taylor left, a Danny Werfel jersey, and what was the third thing that I have not given away yet? There's one more thing. I think it's a Brandon Spikes photo is the last thing that has not been fully given out yet. So those are all still open, and I'm going to do like a show on Friday to give all that away. So stay tuned.
He's like, you get an autograph. You get one.
Look, I enjoy doing this. Obviously, we love to get back. We love to show love for you guys and show the appreciation. And these things are obviously timeless to the fans. They enjoy them, and I think it's incredible to make somebody's obviously, hopefully we bring smiles to your faces just by listening to us. I'd love to if we could do more for you guys because you guys bring us happiness every time you hop on here. So I love it. Ada Dick wants to sign butt plug. I think I can get that from Steve. That's not a problem at all. So Utah Utah's backup. This was an interesting one. The reason why I think it could act as its own topic is because obviously everyone's saying Bryson Barnes, and I thought Bryson Barnes for sure because their freshman lacerated his earlobe, I think. So with that, I was like, okay, it's gonna be Bryson. Well, I went on. We had a call-in show. A Utah fan called in, Larry the Pilgrim, and he was talking about Nate Johnson. So he compared him to Anthony Richardson, 3-star kid out of high school. They say 4-star. 247 says otherwise. He's a sophomore. Says this guy's going to be an athletic freak. I was like, okay, all right, Larry. Then I go on the Wild Ute show. Shout out to them for being the only Utah show that would do a collab with us. And he also mentioned how Nate Johnson was going to be a threat and that he could see him playing. And I read an article saying that now with Cam out, it's not going to be if Nate, but when Nate jogs onto the football field. And look, that sometimes could be an advantage because don't know what to expect with this young guy. The guy can run like a freak. And we're talking precast how Utah is a great running team. They can't score in the red zone, which we talked about on the Utah show, but they do spread the ball out very well. Cam Rising was a phenomenal runner. He's not an Anthony Richardson runner. He's an up here runner, right? Allow the play to break down, and before you know it, you look back and he's 10 yards at the football field. So that's the advantage that Cam Rising, that Bryson Barnes does not give you. And I feel that's where probably Nate will give you. So we probably will see a little two quarterback combo, especially coming to the red zone. And is that a good thing or a bad thing? I don't know. And I think I spoke to this before. Again, I didn't want this to have happened because Steve was even poking the bear today, like, oh, you guys are more confident now the starting quarterback's out. I said I want him to play. However, I don't feel that because of the system, whoever you plug in there is going to be somewhat successful. I do believe that Cam Rising gives you the better option to win. But how much of a leverage are we talking here? Like, what's the differential between Cam to not Cam? Well, according to Vegas, it's 3 points. So it's not much, right? Because they're still favored because the team is elite, apparently. Dave, thoughts?
I mean, I think they're going to switch between both of them in certain scenarios. I mean, if you go and look at Bryson Barnes' statistics, I mean, he had a little bit more statistics out there in college. He's played 6 games, passer, 59 passing attempts. I went through this a little bit 3 or 4 weeks ago. He's thrown for 66.7%, 5 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 152 rushing yards. In high school, he only threw for an average of 58%. He rushed for a total of 1,951 yards. He did play all years, though. His senior year, he only rushed for 625. So, I mean, it's not really something to be scary about. But then when you look at Nate Johnson, really hasn't had that much college experience. His senior year, 62.4%, but he also rushed for 812 yards, an average of 8.6 yards per rush, and he had 4 runs of 100-plus in high school. So you're better like running, I guess quarterback would be Nate Johnson, but Bryson Barnes is probably going to do most of the passing for Utah. But I think Utah is probably going to try to establish the run. I think both teams are going to try to establish some sort of run game, considering what happened last year. Plus, obviously, you have better running quarterbacks than you do passing quarterbacks, to me. So I think that it's going to come down to establishing the run. And also, I mean, you know, this was a stat that I listened to the Gator Nation football podcast. I love that football podcast. A lot of people listen to that one. Graham Mertz, when he's thrown for over 60%, has won each game when he's been in Wisconsin. And I heard that off Gator Nation football podcast. I don't know who sent that into him. So if I read your stat and I didn't get your name, just tell me your name and I'll give you credit for it. But I think that's what it's going to come to. Can they contain the run game? Can Florida contain the run game? Last year, Florida gave up 230 yards on the ground. They also rushed for 283 right back. So as much as Florida was giving up runs, so was Utah. I think that's exactly what's going to happen. Last year, Florida gave up 11 missed tackles in this game, 123 yards after contact, but only 9.9 yards per reception. So they didn't really give up that many yards in the backfield per reception. Rashad Torrance, Avery Helm, David Reese, Trey Dean, Ventrell Miller combined for 7 of those missed tackles, and they aren't on the team anymore. So it's going to be new people here playing. And obviously, Florida was ranked 11th in the SEC last year in missed tackles, 132 missed tackles in the whole season. That's got to be cleaned up right there. I mean, they have a running back by the name of Jaquindon Jackson, and he averages 4.26 yards after contact. That's pretty good. He rushed for 530 yards last year. I don't think he played the whole season. 6.7 yards per attempt. He's forced 30 missed tackles, 6'2", 230 pounds, runs a 4.5. That's a guy you're going to have to look out for there too. So I think what really is going to help Florida out in this game is containing that run game. That defensive line depth chart, if you look at it, it's a lot better. It's a lot different from last year. And I think Florida's defensive line actually got way better than it did last year. You don't have Gervon Dexter getting winded out and nobody there really to back him up in the middle of that in that defensive line. Now you got guys that can close that gap. So I think, that I think the run game is going to matter more than the passing game. And also field goal kicking. Adam Malik wasn't the best kicker last year. We didn't really kick a lot of field goals in that game anyway. There was a lot more touchdowns scored in that game. But, he missed a lot of field goals. This year in scrimmages, he's hitting over 90% of his field goals. So he's improved. And defensively, can Florida get pressure? Last year, Florida gave up, only had 2 quarterback contacts, 11 quarterback hurries, 0 sacks. But so did Utah. Utah had no sacks. 11 missed tackles, as I said. And yeah, I think that's what you're going to have to really do is get pressure on the quarterback. We didn't see that a lot last year. Can Mertz take advantage of the short pass game, middle of the field? Anthony Richardson was successful in the middle of the field last year. He was 4 for 4 down the middle, in the 10 to 19 yard range, 4 for 5 in the 0 to 9 yard range. Didn't really do too much damage on the left side of that field, and he was 3 for 4 for only 9 yards on the right side of the field. So down the middle, Richardson was pretty much picking Utah apart when he threw the football. I know he only threw for 168, but when he did throw the football, they could not contain him down the middles. And I think that's where you're going to have an advantage with Graham Mertz, since he has so much success in those 0 to 9 yard ranges, throwing 71.1% in play action. I think that's where your big passing game is going to come through, is play action and through those short passes. Now, I know a lot of people say that Graham Mertz, he can't throw the ball deep. Dude, watch the film. The kid can throw deep. He just wasn't successful at Wisconsin doing it. He was taking more 3-step drops, not playing much play action. The offense was pretty predictable, 2 runs and a pass. I mean, you can't have a predictable offense. You're going to pressure the quarterback. He's going to get sacked. He's going to throw picks. Can the offensive line stay healthy? I mean, the offensive line right now looks good, but if, according to a couple of injuries there, if you have some injuries, that's going to play a big factor there as well. And they got to dominate the time of possession too. As I said, both teams will probably try to run the ball a lot during this game, so you probably won't see a lot of points scored. Last year, Utah had 32.17 seconds time of possession, 32 minutes, 17 seconds. I'm stumbling all over my words, but still.
No, you're spot on with the time of possession. But real quick, I want to talk about that. But also, what I found interesting is Nate Johnson was before the freshman quarterback lacerated his eyebrow, he was slotted ahead of Nate Johnson. And we weren't hearing anything about Nate Johnson. We were hearing everything about this freshman quarterback. So I find it, intriguing that all of a sudden now that the freshman's out, this kid all of a sudden it's the hottest thing since sliced bread. And I talked about it on the Wild Ute show. I talked about it a few days ago on the show we had. I think it was on Monday. Yeah, it was on Monday. Where they're old man U. I don't know if you guys missed that show, but we preface where Utah, because they don't get elite talent, they get 0 to 3 stars, and that's not a shot, that's fact, that a lot of those guys stay their entire time, sometimes longer, because they don't have the ability to go on to the next level. They have their Cam Rising's 27. They've got an offensive lineman who's 37. And for them to have a freshman starting at left tackle, and I said this on the Wild Ute show, I was like, look, that either it has to be concerning to you because you either that spot's that poorly that you have to go to a freshman, or he really is that good. And he's the number 1 player in Utah, which that means absolutely nothing to me, but it means everything to them. And so I'm sure there's talent there, but if he's the number 1 player in Utah, he probably would rank 49th in the state of Florida alone. So we'll see how that plays out. But time of possession is another big one. And I prefaced it a little bit on the show where I believe Billy, in a way, outcoached Whittingham. And I know a lot of people are probably like, what are you talking about? Whittingham's game is a system. It's to control the ball. And they controlled it for 32 minutes and 17 seconds. Florida controlled it for 27 minutes, I believe. Utah won the time of possession when typically 90% of the time, I think, or 80+% of the time, when Utah controls the time of possession, they win. I use the analogy of a Venus flytrap where Whittingham basically waits for the opposing team to land in his little trap, and then he sucks him in. I believe Billy didn't buy into that. And Billy, he carries that same swagger and a charisma throughout his interviews. He just doesn't really listen to any of the outside noise. And I think most teams walk into the Ute Stadium or when they're up against the Utes with an ego because, again, you look at the team, you're like, it's a team full of old men and 0-star guys. What are we talking about here? But Whittingham is a phenomenal head coach. and he has created a system, and he is exploiting that part of the system where he's keeping guys for 16 plus years, plus COVID years. They have, I think, a total of 12 plus guys from the years 2016, 2017, and 2018. They have kids still on the team. From 2016, they have 4 players that are still currently on the roster. 2016, bro. That is insane. So, kind of just some things to keep.
Their offensive line.
Are they going for their PhD? Like, what's happening?
Bro, it's crazy, man. It's crazy.
They got They got 9 doctors on the team.
It's unreal. Look, I mean, it's just they're playing the system, right? That's their route. You got some schools paying for players and paying on 3. They're just making sure their guys are really old and still playing football. So, real quick though, before we move on, let me go to you, Steve. Your quick thought on just Cam Rising being out. You weren't here before that. Then we have a few super chats, and again, over 670 people in here. Smash the dang like button. This is absolutely incredible. Love you guys for your support. But Steve, give me your thoughts on the backup coming in and Cam Rising being out before we move on to the next topic here.
Sure. Well, obviously, Cam Rising has a lot of football under his belt. I mean, hell, he could have been, a 2014 recruit for all we know at this point, based on the way that they keep their roster together. So I think just the amount of football that the guys played is a big loss for Utah. Now, to that point, Nate Johnson, super athletic. Bryson Barnes has the ability to play well. I think what you're going to see is each one of those quarterbacks has a specific down and distance potential package that they're going to play in. I could see Nate Johnson being what helps Utah finally start to do something in the red zone aside from missed field goals. But I think what you're going to see is more situational football, and they've probably been practicing this way. I think the Cam Rising news isn't news to Utah's coaching staff. I think they've known this. So either quarterback was likely to see the field based on what they're trying to do, what they're seeing. Hell, if you get one quarterback into a rhythm, if Nate Johnson comes in and starts to make a couple of plays and make some throws and starts to get confident, he could likely take the reins. But I think what you're going to see is Kyle Whittingham is going to, like you said, play his style of football. He's going to stick to his system, and regardless of which quarterback he puts in there, he's going to play that game. I think Nate Johnson is the more athletic of the two. But look, it's going to be who's got the hot hand. But I think both of them will see the field. I would say that Bryson Barnes likely starts the game to say that, though.
For sure. And Cam might even have a cameo if I'm not mistaken. So we have two super chats really quick. 2 quick questions. Again, thank you guys for the support. $5. If UF fails to win at Utah, what's the fallout look like? Nuclear, atomic, or apocalypse? I mean, they're not going to lose Utah, so I'm not even going to answer the question.
I have a Georgia fan that's always on my Twitter, and he's like, "You act like you're an insider." How many times have I said that I just report the news?
I think if you put it on a cup, I would believe it more.
Yeah, I probably need to put it on a cup, don't I?
You put it on a cup, I believe it.
Okay.
Look, I'll say this for you guys. If I'm not mistaken, Utah is ranked ahead of you to start the season. If you lose to Utah, and
it can't be a meltdown.
Play a competitive game, it's not going to be bad because everybody's going to look back at it and say, look, they were ranked ahead of you. If you win, then that's a bigger propel for Florida. But you need to win convincingly because again, you're playing a couple of kids that haven't played a lot of football.
I think if it's a good football game and you see signs in them are moving in the right direction and it's a loss to a field goal or a last minute touchdown or even if it's 2 touchdowns, but the game was well fought. I don't think anybody's going to be too upset. Like you said, there's so many fans that are riled up because, again, right now, everyone has that IV injected into their blood of just slurping down the Kool-Aid, and we may or may not have anything to do with it. I don't know. I've been tweeting Gators by a million every day for the last 14 days. So
I'm hoping the quarterback's slurping on Cam Jackson's balls after he sacks him.
Oh, my. Dave.
It is my goodness.
How can you hold on? Dave, whoa. This is a family show. Holy shit.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I didn't mean to put that.
Is this football, Dave? You guys thought we were kidding when we said there's 2 levels of Dave here. Like, are you okay?
It's game week, baby. Let's go.
Holy who hurt you?
What's in the cup?
Yeah, what's in the box?
It's not about who hurt me. It's about who amped me up.
Oh my Lord, I love it.
Was it Jack Daniels?
Jim Beam? I mean, who was? Just give me a name.
Just give me a name.
Something around here. I don't know.
Oh my Lord, he's zooming, baby. Ben Woodward says, if Rising and Kuthi, is that how I say his last name? Doesn't play, do we feel good about it with a win? I felt good about it beforehand, Ben. Okay? Gators by 1 million. I put 100 down on the Gators before this news came out, by the way. I went and put more money down when the depth chart came out. Okay? Just to let you know what's going on. And I use my bookie with high top code with the code high top. One last little super chat from Timmy T. Says $2 says, Holly, is Jordan Travis drawing his SS yet? I'm assuming SS is Social Security, implying that he's old. Yeah.
He's been there for a minute too. He got the benefit of a COVID year as well, and I want to say he's a 5th year senior. Yeah, sounds right.
Yeah. You guys clip that Dave clip.
2018.
Yeah, and is his middle name Bennett?
Dave for Heisman. I love the energy here. Brian, $2 is $2. He just reports the news. Guys, we have over 600 people strong, and an hour in, 250 likes. Incredible. Again, reminder. Say to the end of the show, members will be getting this signed Shane Matthews jersey. My closet's getting weak, boys. My closet's getting weak. Partly due to the fact I completed my trifecta here. I have my Tim Tebow and B Spikes signed photos here, and then I have a B Spikes jersey and a Harvard jersey. So my happiness is complete. That's kind of like where I find. So I was like, you know what? Let's show some love with the other ones that I have and show some people some love. So
he's just bragging.
A little bit. I wanted to show off my collection for sure. I don't even know where I was going with this. We're all over the damn place here, boys.
I know. We get on track, dude.
Yeah. Here it is. All right. So this pissed me off. What's the guy's name? I keep forgetting his dang name.
Mark Long.
Mark Long. Is he still at Florida? Is he still reported on Florida News?
Unfortunately.
Okay. So this guy, if you don't remember, I'm gonna remind everybody, refresh who Mark Long is. I think it was last year. After Billy left, they used to keep the the press conference. They would leave the live stream on the entire time in between interviews. And the mic situation was a little funky, and it was just like a floating mic, and Mark Long was hot on the mic. And I'm watching it, and I remember seeing it, I go, holy shit. He goes, something along the lines like, I don't give an F. I'm going to be here long after Billy Napier and his staff. Because he asked a little bit of a ballsy question, I think is where it was stemming from. And somebody was like, bro, I can't believe you asked that. He was like, I don't give a fuck. And so that's, in a nutshell, who Mark Long is. This audio clip dropped today from Mark Long in an interview, clearly trying to become relevant again, because why now is my question. We're going to play it, and then we'll talk all about it, because it is it's a juicy one, to say the least.
They end up losing 3 quarterbacks in a span of a month between Richardson going pro, Kitna getting arrested, and Rashada's NIL deal falling through. So they lose 3 potential starting quarterbacks. So now they got to scramble. They want the kid. They want Hartman, who ends up at Notre Dame, right? They wanted Sam Hartman. He was top their list along with a bunch of other schools. They at least kicked the tires on Cam Rising, if I'm hearing it correctly. And then they wanted the Pratt kid out of Tulane, the Michael Pratt out of Tulane. So they kicked the tires on a bunch of guys, hoping they could get a transfer quarterback to come in here and bail them out. And they end up landing Mertz. And
hold on. Can we go back to this idea of kicking the tires on Cam Rising? Because this is something that we haven't heard much of.
Bullshit.
Yeah, from what I understand, they at least made a phone call to gauge interest in whether or not Cam Rising, guy they watched in the swamp, dynamic player, right? 91 yards rushing in Gainesville, that opener.
Turn up a little bit.
Won the game by all accounts, right? Anybody who's not wearing orange and blue glasses can tell you that, Utah should have won that game. Yeah, they at least, from what I understand, at least made.
Chat's saying they can't hear it.
It's low.
Is it low? Oh, dang it.
Really?
I'll redo it. Sorry.
They end up losing 3 quarterbacks in a span of a month between Richardson going pro, Kitna getting arrested, and Rashada's NIL deal falling through. So they lose 3 potential starting quarterbacks. So now they got to scramble. They want the kid they want Hartman, who ends up at Notre Dame, right? They wanted Sam Hartman. He was atop their list along with a bunch of other schools. They at least kicked the tires on Cam Rising, if I'm hearing it correctly. And then they wanted the Pratt kid out of Tulane, the Michael Pratt out of Tulane. So they kicked the tires on a bunch of guys, hoping they could get a transfer quarterback to come in here and bail them out. And they end up landing Mertz. And
Hold on.
wasn't.
Can we go back to this idea of kicking the tires on Cam Rising? Because this is something that we haven't heard much of.
Yeah. From what I understand, they at least made a phone call to gauge interest in whether or not Cam Rising, guy they watched in the swamp, dynamic player, right? 91 yards rushing in Gainesville, and that opener should have won the game by all accounts, right? Anybody who's not wearing orange and blue glasses can tell you that, Utah should have won that game. Yeah, they at least, from what I understand, at least made an inquiry into, is he looking to transfer?
Okay. First of all, sorry about the audio, guys. Sorry about the audio. That's my beat. What a tool bag. First of all, I don't recall us reach. I remember the Hartman stuff. There was a ton of noise behind that. I'm like, he wanted to come play. That's kind of how all the noise started. I don't remember us reaching out to the Tulane quarterback, Coastal Carolina quarterback. Yes. So if that's again, that Tulane thing is the first that I'm hearing about it as well. There are a couple of things we have to break down here. If you're reaching out into gauge interest, I believe that's tampering in some form. So you mean to tell me a Mark Long, who's Associated Press with the Floirda Gators, has now just dragged Billy Napier and the Gators, claiming to be tampering, number one. And I'm sure he'll find a way that he didn't do this, because he even kind of backed off and said, yeah, if I'm hearing it correctly, which is you saying allegedly, you're not claiming anything, you know what you did. Number two, why would we reach out to a quarterback that just blew his ACL out?
Yeah.
Like what?
Yeah. You got to be careful kicking the tires on Cam Rising. You'll kick his ACL right out from the knee.
Like, I'm not saying the kid's not good. I understand where he was coming from. Like, yes, he did a lot of great things, but I don't see the interest being like, hey, we're in a revival season. We need to go do some things. Let's go get a guy that just blew his ACL out, that wasn't even sure if he was going to play, go to the NFL, or what he was going to do.
He was clearly not going to play.
Complete
which would have
blasphemy.
done them no good at all.
And then my thing is, again, why now? All of this has been come through and passed, right? Like, it's like an old girlfriend saga, right? It's like we've moved past that. Why are you bringing it back up now? Why didn't you bring it up when we were talking about quarterbacks coming in and transferring in? Because you had to have known about this. You just didn't hear it today. Somebody just didn't go, I'm gonna call Mark. Hold on. Mark, you're never going to believe this. The Floirda Gators were trying to tamper with Cam Rising. I know. Do with what you will, as you were, sir. There's no way that happened. I just don't. There's no way. Sidebar. You know what I mean? I don't believe it. I pissed me off when I heard it. I wanted to spit. Because this guy, look, and I'm probably going to get a little flack for it, but like, bro, you are a journalist. You are an Associated Press. And like the lines, we get shit, right? Because we're just these guys that sit behind mics with zero credibility, and we don't do proper journalism because we can't spell correctly. All those things are factually true. But then you got a guy like this who has credentials, who is supposed to be, the representation of what actual journalism is, and pull some shit like this, and he'll get away with it because, again, he goes, it's what I'm hearing. What I'm hearing is you're a dickhead. So crazy. My buddy just called. That's unbelievable. Couldn't believe it. Sorry.
Yeah, call Shelton real fast. I've got some news for
Call me.
He's a dickhead.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Dave?
Credibility in journalism is dead, man. You might as well forget about it. Yeah, I know there was some quarterbacks of interest. I don't even think Cam Rising was one of them. And even if he was, that, like you said, they would have to tamper to even call him to gauge an interest into it. I mean, Graham Mertz was in the transfer portal. They said they evaluated 24 quarterbacks in the transfer portal. They chose Graham Mertz. There was no, hey, we want you with a brand new torn ACL. Come on over here. That never happened. It could never happen. I don't know where he's hearing his info. I get it that he's a credentialed media, but like, come on, man. Like, I know some people close to Florida too. I know that did not happen. Nobody called him. Nobody called anybody. Like, we literally looked at who was in the portal, got who we wanted out of the portal. That was it. There was interest from other quarterbacks that weren't in the portal, but nobody was contacted. We were waiting for them to go into the portal. I mean, they never did.
Yeah.
To your point, Sheldon, there is something to be said about the timing of this, right?
Yep.
We just heard from Judd about how big of a deal it is to be really the only game on TV. And like you said, Mizzou playing some directional school for the blind and deaf. Nobody's watching that game. There's one game on TV tomorrow. We all know what it is, right? So now you've got all of this hype coming into this game. First big game of the year. And as a journalist, I use that lightly, you wait until a couple of days before this big kickoff, all this hype surrounding it, to use that as when you're going to drop this news. It sounds to me like it's a platform to make yourself relevant, because you got hot mic'd and Billy has basically put you in the back seat.
Yeah, that's why I asked if he was still there, because I haven't heard him.
Right.
I haven't heard him ask a question either. I mean,
do you remember the awkwardness that came when after the week after?
Oh, everybody was tuned in. Yeah.
But Billy, he still sat in the front, and he still asked a question, and you could just see Billy, he kept it cool.
Billy's never gonna do anything. Yeah,
he was. Yes. But now all of a sudden you haven't heard much from Mark Long, so I don't think it's a thing where it's like Billy's gonna lash out. But Billy can absolutely make some things happen within his own program. It's his program. So now you don't hear from Mark Long until all of a sudden he's going to try to jump on the back of a hype train that's going into kickoff. It's an asinine thing to do.
Doesn't Mark Long sound like a complete nerd? Like high pitched squeaky ass voice.
I mean, compared to the other guy, bro, when he started asking, when he was like, "Whoa, hold up," I was like, he has the voice of a god, the radio voice, bro. It's beautiful. I envy those guys. Assholes. No, those guys are great. A face for radio for sure. Real quick, we have over, again, 670 people in here. If you keep smashing that like button, it lets everybody know that we're humping and moving in here, and we may be able to eclipse the 700. So let's keep this party going. We have a few things to go over still, so don't go anywhere. Sit tight, relax, keep sipping on that drink, Dave. We're going to do predictions on first plays. We're going to do our back to our pick'ems. Dave's going to be involved this year. We got a trophy sitting right over there with my name on it last, because I'm the champ, baby. And then we're going to do tweets of the week. Got some good tweets. And, of course, the giveaway that we have. And then I have a hype video that Mr. Cliff Arlington just sent me. Kudos to Cliff. I meant to make a hype video for this, but we're gonna sign off with a hype video, because we all know Steve's going to be fired up for it. And we're going to sign off for the good one. So don't go anywhere, boys and girls. Please, let's stay strong. Let's have a phenomenal show. Let's ride it right off to the sunset. Just loving and hugging everyone. Reminder, we are doing a watch party tomorrow. So if you guys are at home, want to hang out with us and chit-chat and be in the chat and just be yelling and screaming together, we're going to be streaming us watching the show, getting buck nasty. And, of course, good or bad, there's going to be a call-in show. And I told the wife, I was like, if shit hits the fan, we might have to move the studio outside, because I'm going to need to have a celebratory stogie and just buck now. I might be naked. I'm just little trailer, little preview. The call-in shows are not children friendly. Okay, I'm just letting you know the facts here. Pimp and Patty calls in, all bets are off. All right, that's just how that rolls. First play. This is a quick one. I want this is fire round. Steve, prediction. First play of the game for the Floirda Gators. Don't care about Utah. Give it to me and go.
Hand off to Montrell Johnson to the right.
To the right. I like your detail there. It's like a 0.7. That's professional type stuff right there. Dave, and go.
Flea flicker.
Wow. See, look, I talked about it on the Utah show, man. Billy is vanilla as they come. Not even vanilla bean, right? He is as vanilla. He's like a Greek yogurt vanilla. You know what I mean? Like just chalk white. I'm gonna say a slant to Ricky P. A slant to Ricky P. I want to say my option B. I know we didn't do that, but when you're the host, you can do whatever you want. Bubble screen. But bubble screen just seems a little bit reckless. I like a slant. I know it's gonna be a run, but I'm hoping for a quick slant. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you never know. Utah might try to bring the house in the first place. So, yeah, maybe a screen, something like that, yeah.
Yeah, a screen. I feel like that's just a lot to kind of do in the first play, right? It feels like there's a lot of upside, but then there's also that potential that things can kind of blow in your face. Billy's not going to do that. They bring the house, you throw a quick slant to one of your elite players. See you later. He just threw a 2-yard dump pass for 80 yards. That's what we're working for. You know what I'm saying?
That's it. That's why I like. That's how you start a game.
You know what I mean? Quick super chat from Gary Baker says, I like how he spelled it. F Mark Long. I love the energy of this chat. It's absolutely incredible. All right, boys. We have 12 pick'ems. Actually, I need to pull it up before I go and F this up. But we have our MyBookie sponsorship that we love and adore. And again, if you guys are looking to bet this season, you can at MyBookie. I gotta get the copy so I don't screw this up. Oh, jeez. Steve, go ahead and let's rip off the first few games while I find the copy.
Yeah, no, let's do this. All right, so we'll start off with Florida and Utah. So Florida at Utah. Utah is now. I know the line's changed since the last time I looked at it. I've got it down as Utah favored by 6.5.
I'll take it.
But I think that line has changed to 4. We'll leave it at 6.5. That's where it was when I put everything together. So, Shelton, what's your pick?
I mean, come on, bud. Florida covers. Florida covers all day long. I got a money line, but this game you get to pick the you get to use the over under. So, all
right, Dave, should I even ask?
Florida.
Steve,
I would have picked.
I really got Florida penciled in. I did this one.
Look at you, big guy. All right, let me do this real quick. So football is back, and so is the winning season at MyBookie. NFL college football and a brand new cash-out system gives you the option to bet and win all season long. First 2 legs of your parlay hit, cash out early and use the funds on another bet or let it ride for the chances at a bigger payday. Use early cash outs as a tool to stay in control of the action at MyBookie. To get started, go to mybookie.ag now and register for an account free. When you're ready to make your first deposit, just use the promo code HIGHTOP to grab a welcome bonus on the house. That's promo code HIGHTOP to claim your deposit bonus, and for a limited time, a free chip to use in the MyBookie casino. You can bet anything, anytime, anywhere. Only with MyBookie. Steven Chad, back to you, my friend.
All right. Let's go LSU, Florida State. We'll take both of our respective teams and get those out of the way early. LSU favored by 2.5. Shelton, I'll give that to you. Over-under on that one, or the total is 58 on the over-under.
Go Tigers.
I figured that was what you thought. Dave, what you got, my man?
Yeah, I would have to go Tigers based on talent. Hey, you know what? That game could go either way, though. But I'll pick Tigers.
It's basically a pick 'em at 2 points, so.
It really is. All right, next one up. North Carolina. They do this game to start the season quite a few times. North Carolina versus South Carolina. South Carolina is getting 2.5, so North Carolina is favored in
Where's the game?
I believe it's in North Carolina. Let me check.
This guy's the worst MyBookie guy I've ever seen.
Oh my shit.
Either way, I pick South.
All right.
Dave, you go first. I can't go first every time. That's not fair.
South Carolina.
Dave or Steve? It's out South Carolina.
There he is. Okay. I'll take North Carolina. I'll see what Drake May can do this year.
I don't hate that pick, Steve.
I mean, I just never like Spencer Rattler. It's a Spencer Rattler hate fest for me, really.
I hate him too.
Yeah, I do too. I'm gonna take Drake May actually. I'm gonna take the Tar Heels here.
That was hard for me to pick South Carolina, by the way.
Yeah,
it's not. It's never easy. They're an easy team to not like. All right, let's go with the Battle of Miami's. Miami of Ohio versus Miami of Florida, the Hurricanes, which we just experienced. I'll go first on this one's.
What's the spread?
It's Miami. Miami is favored by 17 points
against Miami of Ohio.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. It sounds like Tyler Van Dyke is healthy, even though there were some questions surrounding his health. If he's healthy, I'll take Miami, giving up the 17.
Dave? Okay, I'll go.
Yeah.
No, I'll go. Who did you take, Dave or Steve?
Miami, Florida.
I'm taking the real Miami of Ohio.
Ooh.
I will take Miami if TVD plays. If TVD doesn't play, Ja'Carri Brown
can't do
sucks.
that. You can't do that. You can't, Dave. You can't make up the rules as you go, sir. You got to pick it. That's how it works.
I'll pick Miami, even though I hate them and they suck. Pick Miami.
You have to be more specific.
They're both Miami.
They're both Miami.
Of Ohio.
Dave.
Of Ohio?
Tell Zach to give you a minute.
How about a Miami team wins?
Dave, you are going to get kicked off from the pick'ems if you keep acting like this.
I'm gonna go.
All right,
with,
keep it moving. Keep it moving. Come on.
All right, I'm
Coral
going to put you down for Miami. All right. Ohio State at Indiana. Indiana is getting 30 points at home. Dave, you're up.
Yeah, Ohio State all day.
I took Ohio State as well. I think that game is going to be.
I'm gonna take the Hoosiers because they don't have a quarterback. They're rotating 2 quarterbacks in Ohio, which I don't think they're not gonna be able to score. But I just think that the offense is gonna be a little on tilt, and I think 30 points for Indiana feels pretty good.
Yeah, it's a lot of points.
Okay.
You can't change it, Dave.
Oh no, I'm not. I'm agreeing with you.
Oh boy, Dave. All right, we got one. This is going to be a fun one. We got Nebraska at Minnesota.
Crazy.
Minnesota is
Underdog.
minus 7.5. Yep.
No.
Yeah,
They're
they're getting 7.5.
Nebraska is right.
Yes.
Okay. I'm taking Nebraska.
I don't know, man. Minnesota, they did have a good defense last year. I don't know who they're returning, but if their defense is the way that it was last year, I'm picking Minnesota. So I'll just go Minnesota.
I also am going to take Minnesota. PJ Fleck has had a better opportunity to build a team there, and I don't really like Matt Rule.
You guys want to get a room?
Let's get. Speaking of get a room, let's get everybody together on some love here. Colorado at TCU. TCU is favored by 20.5.
It's disrespectful. I'm take give me the Buffs.
21.5 against
That's
Colorado?
crazy, bro. That's crazy. That's a slap in the face. That's a slap in the face.
I'm picking TCU.
I'm taking TCU.
Oh,
I've got some newfound Dion hate that I got to let out of my system. All right, another fun one here. Virginia versus Tennessee, and I say versus because this is a neutral site-ish game where they're playing it in Nashville in the Titans stadium.
Okay.
But Tennessee is giving Virginia 28. And I'll start with this one. I am going with Tennessee, new quarterback, and I think they're just going to put their foot on the gas pedal and get everything they can.
I like it. I like it.
Yeah.
Give me the Vols. Virginia's abysmal.
How many points is Virginia getting?
28.
I'd still pick Tennessee.
Everyone's mad at me for picking the Buffs. I think it's just a lot of points, man. I just think the game's gonna be more competitive than that.
We got another good one. Big Ten, West Virginia at Penn State, night game. Penn State is favored by 20.5 as well.
I'm gonna take Penn State only because I saw Brandon Walker pick Penn State. How that is even a show is beyond me, but whatever. I know you were hyped on Penn State. I know the guys on College Game Day were hyped on Penn State. They're like the Auburn to me. It's like, why? Oh my God. There's no hype there. So I am picking them because if everyone else is going to be right, I might as well be along with them. But if they're now beating by 20 doesn't mean they're right, but it should be. If they're projected to be in a Final Four, possibly a Final Four team, you better go out there and clap this team's ass.
Yeah.
You
said Brandon Walker picked Penn State
to win the whole thing, to win the championship.
And he didn't know what the hell he's talking about. And he looks like Alf. I will pick Penn State to win, though.
Penn State. All right. So the over-under on this game is 50.5. And that means that if Penn State has a 20.5 is favored by that, that means that they're just not giving West Virginia a chance to score. So I'm going to take West Virginia because their math doesn't make any damn sense. All right,
40
last
to
one.
10.
We will wrap. What's that?
Like 42 to 10.
I just don't like West Virginia's defense.
I just think West Virginia. I think West Virginia can score at least more than.
I don't think they can score anymore. Yeah, I don't think they can score.
We'll see. All right, last one, and we will wrap up the picks. We have Clemson at Duke. Clemson is favored by 12.5.
Oh God, that's easy.
Give me the Blue Devils. Duke's gonna be nice, bro. First game, bro. Dabo's gonna come out a little shaky, and I think it's gonna be like a
Rockets crowd out there.
I think a 7 to 10 point game. I think 12. They gave me 2 points there for free.
Yeah, I'm just hoping that the day is finally upon us where Clemson sucks because I'm so sick of them. So I'm just going to take Duke out of spite. and that, ladies and gentlemen, wraps up the first picks of the week. We will come back and we will cover the score and how everybody did next week on the show. And as Shelton said, we do have a big old trophy sitting over there that he stole from me last year.
I won fair and square. Kicked your ass.
And I'm bringing it back home, baby. Bringing it
Oh,
back
I've got
home.
a golden gator, by the way. Sure do.
I don't think Steve wants to win a golden gator. It's a blondie says get Pimpin' Patty on. Trust me, I wish. We've considered putting him in Steve's spot, but we haven't yet. Let's go on to tweets of the week, brought to you by Manscaped.
Oh yeah, see, you put that on me right there. Football season's ramping up, and we're about to play ball. There will be touchdowns, field goals, interceptions, sacks, and fumbles. But you don't have to fumble your balls this season thanks to our guys over at Manscaped. Save 20% plus get free shipping on Manscaped's ultimate line of products with promo code HIGHTOP20. To the premium package 4.0, to the weed whacker, and the beard trimmer, it doesn't matter where your hair grows, Manscaped shows. Manscaped is the ultimate best in men's grooming, and you can save with promo code HIGHTOP20 today. So take care of your balls this season with Manscaped and get rid of those hairy situations from your head to your balls.
Picks with Pimpin' Patty. What a segment that would be, huh? It would be all day. It'd be all day. All right, boys. Tweets of the week. Here we go. Ugga.
Let's get it.
So Blue Orange Gator, a classic here. Retweeted. Never forget when Coach Kirby Smart tweeted out. Congratulations to our academic players of the week. One of them being Eric Gilbert, who recently was arrested for robbery. What about the other two? Are they good? Or is just Eric?
Yeah, it's just Eric Gilbert.
Okay. It's brutal, man. He transfers to Nebraska. 5-star guy. Brutal.
The video's out there on the internet of him breaking into plays and getting caught.
Yeah, it's pretty egregious. This one's gold. So obviously we all know Donald Trump got arrested, and this person tweeted out Donald Trump, height 6'3", weight 215. Ryan tweeted out on 3 had him at 6'1", 195. I mean, that might go down as a class. I think like at 454 likes, me included. I think this was definitely viral for him. I mean, incredible.
Yeah, that was an elite tweet.
Incredible. I mean, just off the dome, right? I mean, just spot on. Spot on.
What was his weight? 6'3", what?
215. But he's low key a linebacker.
Golly, he could probably play for Colorado.
Yep. All right. You know, this guy tweeted out USC. I love this because USC is always claiming how great they are, and I've stated how just awful their stadium is to our buddy who's a USC fan, and this is just confirming that I was correct in that.
Yeah, like who buys that section? Who buys any seat in that section? Nonetheless, that seat right there. What do you? I mean, like you're gonna see what? Like imagine if the other team's on that end of the end zone, so you get to watch the opposing team score.
There's no way they sell it. They don't.
No.
I've never seen that stadium sold out. By the way, so
they don't even have TVs up there for them to even see the whole thing.
Yeah, the stadium.
There's so much space around him that he could have easily just said,
I think he was down. He was proving a point. Well,
nobody sits there. Nobody sits there. They don't want those seats.
Well, I mean, look, they built it for like a 1967 Olympics.
Well,
so it wasn't
no,
really,
so that was fine.
Really
they put the building next to him. They came in and, like it says right here, when the Coliseum was remodeled a couple years ago, they removed 15,000 seats for the new press box. So when it was built, this press box wasn't here.
Didn't exist. It was just a bowl all the way around. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So we gotta go to video. I'm like a 4-year-old. I love like farting videos. Like,
oh God, hold on.
Yeah, like just like I fart like the other day, for example, Ricky was here and I walked by him and farted like in his general area, and like everybody laughed. He hated it, but it's trust me, it is extremely immature. But there's just something. It's like mom jokes. It's classic.
Farted on Ricky Pearsall?
No, my buddy Ricky. So this is a guy. I love this, and I did this today. I've had diarrhea today. I think it's my nerves kicking in, and you know that feeling. This is absolute, bro. I will watch this literally in tears. This is absolute gold.
throw a lot of RPOs. Now, they ran some because Navy never forced them to pull it and throw it. So I think they only completed like 3 RPO throws the whole time.
I'm out of here.
So,
Bro, Buddy's like, what happened? Well, here's the best part. Ready? So he look. He gives the lean, right? He gives the lean to let some air out. You see this? That's the lean, right? To take the little fart. And then it hits him, right? And then it's like, oh no. And then he sits in it. And then what I love it right here, right? He hits it with a turn, like he looks over, like does anybody just see that? Nobody's in the room with him, right? Then he's contemplating life at this moment. He sits down, he's like, what do I do? Do I get up? Do I leave? Do I continue to move on? And look at him, he's thinking about sitting there right now. Look, he looks back like, all right, we're gonna do this show. And then the smell hits him. He's like, I gotta go.
And like look at his co-host. His co-host like stops for a second to get his answer, and he's like, "Well, I guess I better just keep talking."
Shout out to the person who recorded it. Incredible camera work. You know what I mean? Like just the perfect, just zoom out, zoom back in. Phenomenal.
Hey, I feel for the guy, man. I really do.
Phenomenal, dude. If you can't, I'm sorry for the ones that are just listening on iTunes. You can't see it. It's worth it if you can go watch this and just watch that one particular clip. It's incredible.
Just in a sheer panic.
I guarantee you, he probably like just had to fart and it turned into a shark. And he's like,
absolutely. Probably this next tweet, I don't know who sent this in, but it's absolutely incredible. Easily one of my favorites that I've ever seen. He's going game day, baby! I mean, you're welcome.
I mean, come
You're
on.
welcome.
That's got to be number one.
I mean, the kid's already trained up, boys. I love it.
He's already trained.
I love it. All right, so hey, shout out to Cliff Arlington because he's 100% right. We got to do a hype video. He sent in the hype video here for us. Spot on here. You the man, Cliff, for being locked in and ready to go. So here is the Gator video that they just released. Let me make this a little bit.
We got a full screen, baby.
You don't want our? I was gonna have a reaction. No, we don't want a reaction.
Yeah, just don't shart yourself when you're doing it.
I won't.
Fellas, I'm a firm believer that every great champion lives with a certain level of conviction.
It takes a different kind of person to do things for the person to the left and the right of you. Selfishness is easy. Everybody can do that. You're on a team. You're committed to a team. It's not about you.
You're all a part of something bigger than yourself. You are a link in a chain. Bad habits have a cost. Good habits have a price. Either way, you gotta pay.
Gratitude is a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it grows. And the more power you have to use it on your behalf.
The man on the top of the mountain wasn't born there. It's about who's willing to put the work in.
To be grateful is to find blessings in everything.
Hard work is not a punishment. It's not an obstacle, it's an opportunity. You have to build it. You have to earn it. You don't have to grind today, you get to grind. How much more can I give? Everything. I'm gonna link in this chain and it won't break you. Every hand that touches this program has to believe that they are the difference between winning and losing. Do it! Do it! Win again! Win again! Do it! Do it! Win again! We locked in. I'm a part of something bigger than myself. I said I'm a link in the chain and it will not break here.
Boogity fucking boogity. Gators by a million, boys. Lock it in. It's been a long summer. It's been a hot summer. It's been an exciting summer. And I got to tell you, boys and girls, there is nobody I'd rather be with for this football season than you two boys right here. It's going to be a banger tomorrow night, boys. We're going to be busting uglies, busting some heads. I'm ready to run through somebody. I can make it to Utah if Billy needs me to show up and suit up. They just need to let me know. It's, hey, We're less than 24 hours away, ladies and gentlemen. We have made it. We have arrived. Football's back, boys. Let's get it.
It's glorious.
Let's get it.
Glorious.
Ooh, chills, baby. Absolute chill. I'm not crying. You're crying. You know what I'm saying, Sorley? Goosebumps. 300 likes in the chat. Gators by a million. I almost forgot we still have to do a giveaway for the Shane Matthews jerseys. So don't go anywhere just yet. Don't go anywhere just yet. Blah, blah, blah. Go Utes. John Shields, I want that same energy coming tomorrow, big guy. I want that same energy coming tomorrow with you and your fourth-string quarterback, big guy. Okay? Come on, boy, in here, big guy. Let's go. Let me go ask your Utah Ute guys. Say, hey, how are you guys going to beat us? We're elite talent. You have 0 and 2-star studs that are 97 years old. You learned last year. You're going to learn again. Welcome to the SEC, baby. Strap up. Let's go. Don't fire me up, big guy. Don't fire me up, big guy. I'll turn it up real quick. You know what I'm saying? I'll turn it up real quick.
Got that gator in him. That's what I would tell you.
Scared money don't make money, you know?
Turn me up, boys. Turn me up. We've had over 500 people in here, and I was looking at that number, and not to get like all weird and sentimental, but I was looking at that number prior to, and again, back to Steve when we first started this dang thing, sitting there with 25 people. You can't even comprehend 600 people want to tune in and look at our ugly mugs for an hour and a half. It's absolutely incredible. So again, I appreciate you guys for always coming in and hanging out and just not hating us. It means the absolute world to us. But we got to do a giveaway to show you guys how much we love you. We are going to do a giveaway for our members, over 150 members, part of the family right now. And we're going to do it. 25 seconds. That's how long I last with Holly's mom. So in honor of that, that's why we chose that number. And let's see the ducks here all lined. I mean, look at this. Look at this.
Dude, that's another thing. We used to do these giveaways. It'd be like 6 ducks.
Right? We had to upgrade. We used to get to use the free version of this because we only needed 100 ducks. We got to pay for this thing now. It's $1 a month. Steve's over here clenching his butt cheek paying for this once a month because it's $1 coming out. But we get over 1,000 ducks. So I don't know what we're gonna do if we had 1,000 members. But what's the problem that we'll cross when we get there.
You got more ducks than you got your ducks in a row.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
Ah,
you know,
who gives a duck?
16,000 strong. We hit our goal. We've been giving away stuff all week. It's been a hell of a ride to get here, boys. And like I said, I can't wait to do this season. It's gonna be fun. No matter what happens, we got to have fun and be thankful that it's here and appreciate that it's here. So with that, though,
how many ducks are on there?
150.
151.
Wow, that's a lot.
All right, boys. Here it is. Shane Matthews jersey on the line. On your marks. Get set. Boogity, boogity, boogity. Let's go racing, boys. And they are off. Cliff Arlington, the one who just recommended the video, takes an early lead, but he slips back to the back as Big Poppy Gator 85 has an early lead. The Jordan Duck, but I've seen these ducks before. He's going to fall off.
We got a mover.
Is that Harlan? Is that Harlan? Is that Harlan? Oh, we got it. We got it. The Donald Trump Duck. The Donald Trump Duck. Get the fuck. You can't make this shit up. You cannot make this shit up. Are you kidding me, bro?
Dude, the chat is going crazy. For the people who have been here for a long time, LFGM, Muddy Waters, they're all like, these duck races are great.
We need to do more of these.
Bryce Knowles. I haven't seen a Bryce Knowles in here in I don't know how long. So I think, like, I don't even know if he's going to see this, to be honest with you. I have not seen a Bryce Knowles. So here's what I'm going to do, because sometimes what happens is these we win and we don't get anything. So I'm going to do another one. It's going to be basically what we call not a mulligan, but a provisional in golf. The only reason I'm doing this is because, again, most of the members I see constantly in here, and maybe I'm slipping up, and I apologize, Bryce, if I see, but I have not seen your name in a while, and I want to make sure we get this thing out. So we're going to do another one. Again, this is a provisional duck race. So you're going to be second fiddle if I don't hear anything back from Bryce. I usually wait about 4 or 5 days for these things.
What if Bryce wins it again?
Then we're going to be in a dilemma.
No. It removes the winner. If you re-race, it takes the winner out.
Okay.
Does it really?
Yeah, there's a setting for it. I put it in there.
Oh, okay. So we're going to run it back, boys. Here we go. That was I love the fact we have Donald Trump tweet and the Donald Trump duck wins. I mean, you can't make that. That's just incredible.
Or the fact that Harlan was that close.
Right. Oh, F is for Fanatics. Old Cody, he's going to lose. Blanco got our early lead. We know none of these ducks are going to. I want Dom to get up there a little bit and just kind of see his glory fall back. You know what I mean? That would be fantastic. Ooh, Trip Flemma. He's in our fantasy football league. He's making our late run here. Michael Horn's making a run. Ed the Priest, the Panda Bear. But Andrew Apple. Let's go. Huge there. Huge there for Apple and Lincoln, baby. He was in here today. Look, he's in his. He just said run it back. He's probably losing his shit. He is probably losing his shit right now. His duck won. Unbelievable. I love that for Andrew.
So what was that for?
I'm Bryce. It's for a signed Shane Matthews jersey.
There you go. See, look, he's in
Greg
the chat.
Pace, I like where your head's at. 42-31 FSU over LSU. Atta baby.
Nick says, I'm Bryce. I changed my name. I love it. I love it. Oh, Andrew. Where's Andrew?
Love it.
Where is he?
It's late.
No, he was just in here. He just said run it back. Did he faint?
Maybe.
There he is. Woo!
There he is.
That's all the O's we could get, Andrew? That's all you could do for us?
You couldn't even put it in capitals, bro?
Wow, that's a little rude.
Give me the caps lock.
I love it. That's awesome. Good stuff. Look, Andrew, if I don't hear anything from Bryce in the next, 72 hours, it's all yours, big guy. I'll be in touch. So we chit chat a lot. Boys, that's
I woke up my wife. That's what I'm talking about.
I love that. I feel bad because it's a provisional duck, so let's not get carried away. You may not win. At least your duck won, right? That's a W.
That's it.
That's a W. Well, again, I appreciate you guys becoming members. We had a few join today. Love you guys again for always supporting the channel. 16,000 strong. Absolutely incredible. Boys and girls, I can't say it enough. We flipping made it. Football is tomorrow. We will be live streaming the football game. So if you guys are at home, hanging out, watching, tune us in. Come hang out with us, chit chat. I talk with the chat a lot more, obviously, because we're just hanging out, having a good time. So love you guys. Be good. Until next time, I'm Sheldon.
And I'm Wally.
And I just report the news.
Boogity, flippin', boogity. It's game day, boys. Let's get it.
Stabbed in the back bed, I'll show you what happens. Pass me the mic and I'll show you with action. I feel this pain, you already know. Turn that to gains, let my money show. I've got these things that I can't let go.
Drop a light, drop a light, drop a light.
Something that you can never